Fun. Okay. Here we go.
Everybody leaves. Right, well, one more time. Hello.
Hello.
So I know quite a few of you, but I don't know everyone. So I'm Sue Briggs, and my colleague Dorothy Torrance is with us, and we are 2 out of 3 of the directors of the general store. More on that shortly, and the third person. So before I start, let me just ask you, is there anyone, so put your hand up, is there anyone who hasn't heard of the general store?
Sort of.
Oh, right, okay. So we've got Richard and Trish. Richard kind of sort of, or not at all? Not at all. So of those who have heard of us, is there anyone who hasn't visited yet? Okay, cool. So so we've got a mix of people who haven't even heard of us before, who have heard of us and visited, and have heard of us and not visited. So in order to give us a context based on that, we're going to start with a picture, bear with me, of the general store. And so this is, can you see that marketplace?
Yeah.
Let me know if you're seeing something different to me, because it's a bit confusing. So that's a general store on Marketplace in Selkirk. And this is, I hope, can you see that one? Hang on, let me just, that's Marketplace. And this one was a picture that was in, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In the Daily Telegraph in April, and the Times, and quite a few other newspapers when we actually opened. The tuba, just in case you're wondering, it was a donation. Somebody found it being thrown out in a skip and gave it to us. And I thought, what am I going to do with this? But ever since then, it's actually lived outside the shop, and it's the best marketing, I swear. It's the best marketing you could ever have. People can see it from the other side of Selkirk pretty much. So that's what the general store looks like for those of you who haven't visited or haven't heard of us. And the first thing we're going to do is start with the general store quiz. Okay, so I will need you to either unmute or sign language, whatever. So question 1, what do we repair? What does a general store repair?
Anything.
Anything, I'm hearing. Pretty much correct. Who was that? Who said that? Wave at me. Chris. Okay, so yeah, if you can, our motto is, if you can carry it over the threshold, we can take a look. The only exceptions we've got at the moment are printers and IT, but we're hoping to get an IT specialist and offer a service on that as well. But yep, our motto is, if you can get it over the threshold, we'll take a look at it. Question 2. How long has the general store been going? Now, this is a multiple choice question. How long has the general store been going? Is it 1 year? Is it 4.5 months? Or is it feels like forever?
2 and 3.
Correct. So the general store, we opened officially on April the 26th after lockdown. It's been the craziest 4.5 months ever. It does not feel like forever. It feels like a very hectic 4.5 months. Well done. So point to, was that you, Anne?
Yeah.
That's a point to your team. Question 3, another multiple choice. The general store, is it a charity, a business, or a community interest company?
3.
Community interest, yeah.
Community interest.
Interest company, I think.
It's a community interest company.
Yeah.
Question 4, what is a community interest company? After her, you.
Something like the general store.
Not-for-profit organisation.
Say again, sorry?
A not-for-profit organisation, but with a business element.
Yes. I mean, basically, it's a business with a heart. So the difference between, I mean, charities are dependent on funding, donations as a rule. I mean, obviously charities do sell stuff. We are designed so that the expectation is we can get funding like a charity, but we also need to be able to essentially survive by ourselves. So the funding is given like to start you up or to grow, but the expectation is that you do turn over money. However, the important thing about a community interest company is if we make a profit, that has to go back into the purposes of the company. So if we make a profit, then we would use that money, for example, to run workshops on repair or whatever. Is that clear? So we're kind of like a hybrid charity business, a business with a heart. Question 5. In Glasgow, there is an organisation called the Remade Network, which are kind of similar to us, similar but different. Remade has been going properly for about a year, but 2 years, including a pilot. So this is in Glasgow, a city of 1 million people. So the Remade Network, how many repairs do they do a month in Glasgow? It's a multiple choice. Is it 60, 200 or 800?
200.
Anybody?
800.
800. Francine was offering 300 there, which was not one of the
No, it was
answers.
the It's the third option.
I did thank you. I did before we set this up, I obviously did tons of research and I spoke to the Remade Network, which about 6 months ago, but I've seen a tweet from them on Twitter recently. So to answer the question, the Remade Network in Glasgow, a city of 1 million people, does approximately 60 repairs a month, 60. The general store in Selkirk, how many repairs does the general store in Selkirk do a month? Is it 20? So in a city, town of what, 6,000 people? 20, 60, or over 100?
Oh,
Over 100.
either 60 or over 100. A lot.
A lot,
Okay.
over 100.
Really?
Amazing.
When I was doing the research, I spoke to the Remade Network and they said, oh, we did they're doing 700 a year. And I thought, all right, well, that's in Glasgow. So my business plan said, and I actually went back to it just yesterday. It said, forecast 25 a month. I thought that was, if Glasgow does 60 a month, then 25 a month for us is going to be realistic. Wrong. And we've consistently done over 100 repairs a month. It's actually a lot more than that if you count, because some things coming in groups. But in terms of like our system for monitoring, like the wee yellow slips that we have, it's over 100 a month. So no wonder it feels like forever. We are exhausted, but we're happy, happily exhausted. Question 7. I'd like to hear from some of those people that I haven't heard from yet. So you can mime, you can whatever. What are the top 3 items that we get for repair?
Clothes.
Clothes.
Kettles.
So hang on, actually, I'm going to give you the top 4. So clothes
Sorry.
is in that, yeah. What else?
Kettles.
Nope.
Toasters.
Nope. So we've got clothes, correct. What other 3?
Sharpening things.
Okay, the top 5. I'm going to give you sharpening. All the stuff I didn't.
Garden tools.
Yeah, the top, so I'll put you out of your misery. The top 5 are clothes, garden tools, lamps, hoovers, and radios.
Oh, right.
Lamps, hoovers, and radios.
And Kenwoods.
And Kenwoods, yes. We do get quite a lot of Kenwood chefs.
Mm.
Really good. Question 8. There are only 10, okay, so just bear with me. Question 8. What is our fix rate, our success rate? Is it about 40%, about 70%, about 90%?
90.
You're all just being really positive now.
70.
Correct. Correct. Our hit rate at the moment, I mean, it could change. It depends what comes in. Is around 90% success rate, 10% no fix. Question 9, and this is for those of you with books on the bookshelves behind you. What is the circular economy?
Reusing things and not recycling, but reusing.
Reusing and repairing and not throwing away.
Keeping it out of landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally keep it going round and round in different formats. So we've got the circular economy, and then we've also got the linear economy, which I'm sure you know, but it comes out of the ground, it gets made into stuff, it goes back in the ground. Circular economy, keeping it going for as long as possible in whatever form. And we're part of that. We promote repair, reuse, repurposing. Good. And question 10, last question. What is the capital of Uzbekistan?
Capital of Uzbekistan. Is it not Timbuktu? No.
Capital of Uzbekistan is Tashkent.
Okay. Kent it was.
All right, so that was just a wee quiz just to kind of get us started. We'll have time, I think questions will be at the end, won't it? And typically, but I mean, obviously butt in if you want. So, we're a repair shop. Dorothy. No, not Dorothy. Me. Why the title? So the title of this presentation is Repair in the Square, How Plastic Bags Changed My Life. And so it was last year and we were in lockdown and time's going on, whatever. And what I found myself doing was endlessly washing plastic bags so that I could reuse them. I would devote forever to doing it. I would prioritize it. I mean, there wasn't much else to do, to be fair, but I would clean them, reuse them. I would organize them into size, uses, branding, Tesco, Sainsbury's, whatever. I found myself obsessively organizing and saving plastic bags, which set me off on a bit of a journey, because I thought, well, once we're out of, if this is how I like to spend my time, then how can I develop this further? So like loads of people, I started looking at all my stuff and going, right, that could go to a charity shop, that my brother would like that, this needs repaired, this needs repaired, this needs repaired. So when we come out of lockdown, I was ready in my no waste capacity, no waste, to get things repaired. And it was really hard. It was really hard to find places to get stuff repaired. And so I did a bit of kind of legwork and mileage, and I could not find a general repair store. I didn't know where to start with electrical stuff. Do you call out an electrician? What does that cost? Can you just go into the electrician's shop? No, they don't do that kind of stuff. So it was so frustrating. I thought, right, I'm going to do it myself. And so that's what we did. So the plastic bags was the kind of the beginning of the whole story, and just noticing how that really mattered to me, not to waste like that. So that's what we decided to do. Dot, I have known for quite a while now. We'd worked on various projects together. So with Dot, we decided to set it up, and we set it up in, well, we got the premises in October 2020, but of course, and we tried to pilot stuff, and then of course we got locked down. So we waited and we opened properly on April the 26th. Now, Dot, what would you say in terms of repairs? What would you say is your favorite repair?
Me personally, it was the Blue Rabbit.
A blue rabbit. I think we need to see a picture of the blue rabbit. Can you see the blue rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that before or after?
Before. So we do get a fair number of these kind of things that, you know, like the repair shop on telly, that sort of precious, sentimental type things. So monetary value, not very much, but just sort of precious things. So this bunny came in and we sort of rummaged around for a repairer. And Dot, who did we get?
He got me.
Got you. So what's the story of the blue bunny?
The blue bunny was found in the bottom of a cupboard when somebody was doing the usual raking around to tidy up things. And apparently it belonged to this person's husband when he was a child. And he'd forgotten all about it. But she thought that she would like to have it passed on to their grandchildren. So
It was Dot.
that's what was done.
Dot to the rescue. Here we see, I hope, can you see the bunny getting a wee blow dry on his tail?
Wow.
So Dot worked in him, brought it to life. We spruced up his moustache and spruced up his tail. And here we have a picture of the bunny.
Whoa.
Yay!
Very good.
Hi, Dot. So that's Dot's favourite repair. My favourite repair. And we don't have a before picture of this one, sadly, but it's a dog, a wooden dog. Now let me just put the picture up so you can see him. Bear with. Here he is. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
this
Oh,
is
I like
Spot the
that.
dog. And Spot was born during World War II in the prisoner of war camp outside Hawick. And our client's grandmother, I think it was, used to visit the prisoners of war, bring them food, knit them stuff. And so this particular item was made as a way of saying thank you from one of the prisoners of war to our customer's granny. And his tail had fallen off. But as you can see, it got back on and we took him out for a walk. And so that's Spot the dog. Sadly, not sadly, the reality, let's bear with. So we get lovely stuff like that, but what we also get, in fact, what we mostly get and what we should get is this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Typical thing. So quick test, how many Hoovers are there in that picture?
23.
6.
You're just wildly guessing.
Other models of vacuum cleaner are available.
Four anyway.
Yes, yeah, there's at least 4 plus guardian tools and that. So typically that's the kind of stuff that we get in, plus all the small electricals and so on, which is it's what we should be doing. I mean, it's lovely to do these nice ones, you know, with the wee stories, but actually our job is to be part of the circular economy. So our job is to save stuff from landfill. So that's the kind of stuff that we normally get in. It's our kind of bread and butter, if you like. So there's Dot and myself and another co-director, Karen, who brings an IT specialism. And just on when we opened, here's a nice picture of Dot opening, which appeared on the front page of the Daily Telegraph on April the 26th as Scotland reopened. So Dot was the face of Scotland reopening on April the 26th. It's a really nice photograph though, isn't it? Cool. So how it works, so the back of the shop, which actually is through there. Whoa. That's our current workshops, although we are expanding. More on that in a second. The front of the shop sells a range of items to raise funds so that we can keep the repairs affordable. So we do like second-hand items, for example, that kind of thing. We do crafts. And hoping this works, we do upcycled crafts. So this is actually a bit of an old kitchen cabinet.
Yeah.
You see it? It says, "Don't tell me what to do," for you those cat lovers out there. So it's a guy, you can see, it's actually a bit of an old kitchen cabinet and his stuff sells really well. So we sell stuff to raise funds to keep the repairs affordable. I mean, the idea is to ask people to be as sustainable as possible. It's really hard for them, but most people can do it. Dot, what would you say is the best bit about working in the general store?
Well, for me personally, it's meeting all different kinds of people and having amazing conversations, really interesting conversations with people and chatting to them. And then obviously being able to say, when they ask the question, can you possibly fix this? And saying, yes.
Can you carry it? Then we'll have a look at it.
If you can bring it in, we'll have a look. Yeah.
My favourite bit is actually two things. It's my favourite bits, the team, because we've got, so the front of the shop is run by volunteers. The back of the shop we've got volunteer fixers and we've got paid fixers, because if there's people, you know, there's certain standards that you want to be sure of if you're working obviously in electrics and that kind of thing. So one of my favourite bits is just the team. The volunteers and the fixers that we've got are all just brilliant. I mean, just really, really on board, proactive, positive people. I love that. The other thing that actually, and this is a selfish thing, it actually makes me feel like I'm doing something. I'd got to the point where I'd be watching like Blue Planet and I couldn't watch it because I was thinking, well, they'll all be gone soon. That's a beautiful whale, but it's going to be away soon because we've killed them all. And I actually got to the point where I could not watch something like that around sort of, you know, climate anxiety. So it makes me feel like I'm doing something. It makes me feel better about me, is the other thing. So the future, well, we've just acquired some extra space because we got so stuffed with the number of repairs that we're doing that for the repairers, it became quite difficult to work in the space that we've got. So just literally 2 doors up, we've got a new workshop space that we're going to transition into for the workshop side of things, the working side of things, and hopefully actually maybe run some training stuff in there as well when we can. And one day, what we'd really like is we electric vehicle going out to the villages and bringing repair to people rather than them always having to come into Selkirk. But we haven't got that yet, but one day. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Wow, Sue,
Yeah.
that was just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You know, you and Dot are just such inspirational people. And, you know, you radiate sunshine out that shop of yours. It spreads over the square. You've got people playing chess. You've got people sitting in your chairs. It's not only your shop and your circular economy and all that, it's what you're bringing to the whole of Selkirk.
Thank you.
I really want to thank you for that as an inhabitant of Selkirk. It just makes you so proud of what's happening in our town. So I just say thank you to you and Dot very, very much. Now it's question time. Anybody would like to ask questions to Sue and Dot? Francine?
Yeah, thanks. That was a great presentation, very inspiring. And just some practical questions. Where you've got volunteer fixers, well, and even paid fixers for things like electrical goods, what kind of, what's the word? There's something called PAT or something. There's some kind of, okay, it's okay and safe to use this now that I fixed it thing. So could you kind of expand on that a wee bit, please?
Yeah, all of the fixers who deal with electrical goods are PAT test trained. So we got funding and we sent each of them to Edinburgh for a day-long course. They're all very experienced in fixing electrical things, but they now have the certificate that says they are qualified in a safety sense. I mean, actually, a PAT test is actually a really simple thing, and any competent person, and those are the words, could actually do it. However, safety obviously really matters to us, and so we decided to get everybody trained, and they all came back saying, well, that was great, and really learned a lot. Al Patullo, he's one of our PAT testers. He's chair of the community council, and then 2 of our fixers. So they are trained, Francine.
Good. And well, sorry, just still on the fixers. I mean, did you advertise for them in the local papers, or just how did you bring them all on board?
This sort of just came out of the woodwork. Do you know, I mean, I think it's kind of, it appeals to people, and there's so many practical people around in Selkirk in the area, just people who know how to do stuff. So they actually so we didn't advertise, they just kind of came to us. I know that sounds a bit weird, but that's exactly what happened.
Literally, people came into the shop, and when we were talking to them, they'd say they had some skill, and we'd say, oh, would you be prepared to use it?
Yeah. Sorry, I've got millions of questions.
I was very interested in.
I'm not facilitator.
Okay,
I've already asked.
I'm not seeing everybody in my so Richard, Richard, okay.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not muted, am I now? For the 10% that you can't fix, do you find that people will come and take the stuff away, or there's a danger of accumulating junk here?
Most people do, yes. We have had a couple of things left behind, but most people do so far, because we're not set up as, the kind of waste disposal kind of people. So some stuff we keep for parts, obviously, but no, most people do.
And can I also ask how you do the pricing? Is it by the hour or what?
Good question, and that's been really hard to work out. So with the principal repairers that we've got, the core team, they're freelancers, but they come in here and I pay them an hourly rate. We tried per item, we tried whatever, so but it doesn't, but per item doesn't work. It's really, so what we do is we pay them a day, an hourly rate, but for typically one day, although as freelancers, they can come and go as they please. Now, what that does mean is sometimes the repairs that they don't actually cover their salary entirely. However, that's what the shop's for. So the shop turns over, it's okay. It wouldn't support, at the moment, it wouldn't support retail staff. It's all volunteers out the front, but the turnover from the shop makes up the shortfall. So we can pay the guys a decent daily rate and not be worried, oh my, they haven't done 10 lamps today, we haven't made enough money. Because I want them to feel, to be well rewarded, for their skills to be valued, and for it not to be stressful. Got to get more repairs out, because a lot of the time they're kind of learning as they go. Because a harmonica, how do you fix a harmonica? Well, you have to find out first. So it shouldn't just be about targets. I mean, we do need to turn over repairs, of course we do, but we don't set targets or anything like that. And I've got no complaints.
Thank you.
Okay, Blair.
Yes, I've got an old lamp, one of these desk lamps with the spring things and a hood.
Bring it in.
An angle voice.
It's broken off the shade bit and I can't fix it myself. If I bring that in, I don't really need it. Can you sell it or what?
At the moment, no. But when we get into our new premises, what we're also hoping to do is use one wall of them as pre-loved, to use that phrase, electrical items. So stuff that we repair or it's donated and it works okay, and resell it. So that feels very different, which is why we don't do it in front of the shop here, which is kind of, it's sort of vintagey, second-handy stuff. But that's the plan. So in the future, Blair, we'll be able to take that kind of stuff. We haven't got the storage space at the moment.
No, but I can take it out, and I've got a couple of old radios which I can bring in. one is a DAB radio, and the aerial's broken, and other things like that.
Yeah. I would hang on, Blair, but bring them in to get them repaired.
Yes.
Very reasonable,
There's one thing I didn't want to throw into the tip. It's a plastic chair, one of these reclining chairs that you put in your garden, and it's actually got an aluminium tubing, and one of the spars is broken, but I don't know if that's repairable or not. I didn't want to send it to the tip.
I know, it's hard. Part of my challenge is actually learning to say no, because when we start, sorry Blair, no.
That's right.
But when we started, you're kind of going, yes, and actually you just drown. You drown.
Yeah.
So I've got better at saying no.
Right. Okay. And I've also got a cupboard, a bathroom cupboard, which my wife has dismantled. So some nice bits of panelled wood you could bring in and you could use
Now,
possibly.
we could give that to Kevin,
Mhm.
Yes,
who makes that stuff, actually,
yes.
because wood has become quite scarce, and
Is it really?
even MDF apparently.
We've got lots of wood in our shed. Right, very good. I'll bring some things in.
Francine, have you got another question?
Yeah, I'm sadly not in Selkirk, but so I just wondered, do you have like a website or an email address where people could send a photo of what they're wondering, can you repair this, and then to save a journey and having to bring everything back? Or
Yeah, totally.
do you do that?
Yeah, so it's the email is generalstoreselkirk@gmail.com. So general store Selkirk, all one word,
At Gmail.
@gmail.com. Yeah, we will have a website. So again, just like 4.5 months in of over 100 repairs a month. It's like no time, but that's next on the list. In fact, Karen, the director, who's not here just now, that's what she's working on. She's making a start on it now. She's actually going to design as a website and just get us, up to speed.
We do have a Facebook page though.
Right, we do have a Facebook
You
page.
do.
Okay.
So that's General Store Selkirk is the Facebook page.
And the email address is on that too.
All right.
You're stuck. Yeah. Okay. Right, I'm
I
going to
love
go
you,
with Louise.
Francine. You're my favourite audience member.
Okay, Louise.
Louise.
Hi. The store seems really good at connecting with other organisations in the community. I'm just wondering what its relationship with the Shedders is, you know, the Shed group.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a
The men's
is there
shed.
kind of connection?
Community shed.
Yes, that's what.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, before we actually got going properly, we sold lots of stuff for them because the stuff that they made, and so we did a quid pro quo. And so before lockdown last autumn, so we sold their stuff, didn't charge them commission. They helped us do it up. Since we've opened up properly, we're not selling their stuff anymore, and they're just getting, I mean, Dot and I are both members. I was on the committee for a while as well. They're just kind of really getting up and running again. But the plan is that because they have kind of basically a joiner's workshop. Now we don't have, we don't do those kind of repairs. We haven't got like, you know, the big saw, the circular saw that cuts through things. We can't do that. So the plan is to make more use of the shed as a repair partner.
Right. Good. And I think it was back to Francine.
Francine.
It was a question I wanted to ask way back when you had the photograph of Spot the dog on it. And I was thinking about the community shed, and I was thinking, could you ask them to make a whole lot of Spot the dogs in time for Christmas? Because I can think of a lot of people I'd like to give one to, and I'd quite like one myself.
They're on Facebook. I can send you the photograph, Francine, or send it to David and you can send it to them. They're on Facebook. No,
but I mean, if they're looking for a new kind of product to kind of churn out, just maybe tempt them into sort of thinking about that.
Yeah, I'll mention it. Yeah, I mean,
well, you could do it.
Me?
Sorry?
Yeah.
But I'm not sort of skilled at woodwork. Oh, you know, I could ask them.
I mean, they like to have people suggesting things.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
The reason that we don't sell for them now is they kind of, I don't think I'm giving away anything confidential here. What they wanted, I guess, to when they restarted was return to the roots, and sort of selling in a shop. Whilst it brought in income, it also brought like pressures as well, like to give stuff to sell and all the rest of it. So I think they wanted to go back to a more kind of, so a less of a driven way of making things, and more just kind of what you like when you like. Fancy. And Richard, fight.
Yes. Richard? Yeah.
Oh, right, me first, right. I'm just wondering what the influence has been generally of my favourite TV programme, The Repair Shop. Do you think this sort of thing is coming up because of that?
Yeah.
I mean, if I actually don't really watch it, but so to answer your question, in terms of like the repair side of things, that wasn't an influence, because it was, for me, it was always about, you know, toasters and kettles and all that. However, when we were brainstorming what we wanted the place to feel like, we wanted the feel of the repair shop. We wanted people to come in and feel like this is really, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up in Glasgow, there were repair shops, and you typically go in and it would be freezing cold, and there'd be like a tin of shoe polish on the shelf with a layer of dust about an inch thick, and the guy would come through from the back and he'd be really grumpy and not a rewarding experience. If we're thinking about behavior change, we want people to kind of come in and like being in here and know that somebody actually cares about their item and cares about making it better, if you like. So the feel of the repair shop was very much in our minds when we sort of put the shop itself together, to answer your question.
Okay. Any other questions?
Francie's back.
Yes, this is the last one, and it's a burning question, and unfortunately, but I'm involved with an organisation in Melrose called A Greener Melrose, and a couple of years ago, or maybe it was the January before lockdown, so 2020, we went to, I think it was called Central Halls in Glasgow. I can't remember what district that's in, but they run a repair cafe there. I just wondered if you've kind of been on a visit there and kind of been in their atmosphere.
Yeah, and I did that as part of my research. It would be the same. I think it's Govan area, the one.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway.
Possibly.
So yeah, I did. And I liked the buzz. I liked the vibe. I liked the cafe bit. And what we'd actually like to do, repair cafes.
Oh, good.
And in our space, we've kind of got the opportunity to do that. It would be small. We couldn't have like more than probably like 10 people in it, but we could do that. I shied away from the volunteer model because I thought it would be like reinventing the wheel every month. You know, volunteers do amazing stuff, but they are volunteers. There isn't the same kind of, no, that's not true. I didn't want to be lying awake thinking, will they have a different priority tomorrow morning that they have to kind of go to and I won't know about it? Do you see what I mean? It felt like starting again every month, whereas if I had regular repairs, a team who are part-time team who come in on different days, and you're kind of always covered.
Yeah, it's just that our original plan was to try to have one running in Melrose, but the way we were going to go about it was just using maybe a church hall or something like that once every so often, because what struck me about Glasgow was they came on so strong about this. The sense is not really repair is just going on in the background. It's building community is what it was all about, and I liked the way that they. You know, you went in with your thing and you got a chit, and you then went to get your coffee and your cake and sit at a table with somebody else that was waiting for their thing. So there was a bit of chat would go on then, and then you didn't just give your thing away to be fixed. You had to go and sit with the fixer and watch and see what was happening and have a conversation there too. And it was just so different to anything, you know, that I'd ever come across before. But unlike you, we didn't kind of manage to progress that because we got held up in all sorts of obstacles and problems and what ifs. And so I just wondered if that could be built into yours, maybe just to kind of experiment with that, because you could take your army of fixers, you know, if it's to kind of promote the thing or have a cafe day or just because you're so far ahead now because you've got all your team and you've done so brilliantly.
I think there's space for both models, I think. But I mean, so and I with community, as a few of you have kindly said, is kind of at the heart of what we do. So anything that helps that grow is good. So getting people together as part of a repair process totally works. I've lost my thread. What was I going to say? There's space for both. Yeah. Not everyone wants to actually learn how to do it. That's the other thing. A lot of people just want their stuff fixed. They're busy. They don't want to put it in landfill. So they bring it to us and we operate as a business and turn it around. So I think there's room for both. Yeah.
I like very much the way that you will sell stuff too, and you're using that bit of funding to subsidize the rest. It's a great model.
So far so good.
Yeah. How about the building that you're in? I mean, what's the cost there? And Do you get it for nothing? No. Probably
Well,
not.
the fortunate situation we're in is, this is going to sound a bit strange, but I lost my mum a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, and I inherited a little bit of money. So it wasn't life-changing, but it was enough to do something with. So what I did was I bought the premises. So we don't have rent.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
which don't get me wrong, it really does help. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you don't, because you're what are you again? A community interest. Do you pay rates or no rates because your turnover won't be that huge?
No rates. But the Scottish Borders Council, in general, it's dependent on the rateable value of your building. They don't charge rates. So with a building of this size, you wouldn't pay it no matter who you were.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah, that really helps.
Wow. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, can I ask something?
Yes, Anne, go for it.
Well, it's comment first, the kind of ethos of the Repair Cafe is teaching people how to do the repairs, isn't it? That, like Francine was saying, the idea is that you sit with the repairer so that you can learn how to do things yourself. So is that what you're meaning by maybe doing workshops, Sue, when you get your bigger premises?
Yeah. I mean, ours would be, I mean, it'd be great to like work with the community shed because they've got a more kind of, what's the word? Manly sort of space, for whatever it is, terrible sexist, but we would be much smaller. But yes, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, visible mending, for example, just really keen, real big fan of visible mending. So we'd like to do that kind of thing.
I had another question, if I can keep going before Richard gets in. And Trish, okay, which was, you talked about what you paid your fixers, but how do you work out the rate for people who bring something to be mended?
No problem.
No, that was Johnny, the guys coming to do the
It tends to be a bit that.
the top bit of the hedge. Johnny,
so it tends to be, we've got some standard rates. You know, so for example,
the Polish guys coming. I know about
Let's mute that lady who's talking.
Oh,
Here we go.
So we've got some standard rates because some stuff is easy, like rehandling or sharpening, rewiring a lamp. Some of it is dependent. We talk to people a lot about the price. We kind of say, look, let's talk about this. If it's a very expensive item that would be very expensive to replace, then we probably will charge a little bit more. If it's a wee older person, then sorry to be ageist, but I'm never ever going to charge wads of money. So it's a wee bit suck it and see. But I say that the important part for me is like you have a conversation with people. There's no fee if we can't fix it. But people are very good about donating for the time. We have a conversation with people and we do a little bit of a litmus test, like maybe before, like, so at what point would it start to feel unreasonable for you? Would it be 20 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid? So it's not an exact science.
Okay.
Trish?
Not so much a question, but I mean, I'm down in between Yetton and Moorbattle, so I'm not that often in Selkirk, especially over the last couple of years, obviously for various reasons, because I've had no occasion to go there. But we do have a men's shed in Kelso, which goes with the checkered history of the supermarket in Roxburgh Street, and they were able to take over the half that the co-op didn't want to use. And I noticed an article, I think in the Southern or the Kelso Life magazine recently, that they have used lockdown to do a bit of refurbishing. Now, I went in there to see if I could get a couple of garden forks reshanked. My problem was that I couldn't get rid of the old bits. You know, when the shank broke, I couldn't get rid of the old bit of the shank, and they were quite happy to do it if I took in the tool and new shanks. And I think possibly a donation, and I got a guided tour, but I think they have done a lot of refurbishment since. And I got the impression that quite a lot of what they did, because they do have a shop window on the premises, and they do sell stuff that is made and stuff that is given. Quite what their level of expertise is, I think it depends who goes. But I got the impression quite a lot of it was a space where people who had hobbies that weren't very popular to do in the living room or they hadn't got a shed at home, it was used for that. But I've been taking copious notes, and I hope I've got the facts right, because I have to write my usual bit for our quarterly Cheviot magazine, which is put out by the church, but is very much for the community. So I shall be writing up the general store in Selkirk and pointing people in that direction as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in it together. You need
it's handy to have to know how to get in touch, because it's electrical items in particular. This came up in a discussion the other night about safety aspects of it. So the fact that they can do the PAT testing, because I mean, my ethos is that I hate putting things in the grey bin even, and I hate, having to, and I've got a few things that I keep hanging on to because I don't know how to get rid of it. But I've taken notes, and it's been interesting to hear about it, because I did sort of know what was going on, but because I'm a little bit away, yeah.
Okay. Any more? Oh, yes, we've got Richard. Richard coming in.
Promise I'm not trying to compete with Francine.
Sure, Francine.
Don't try.
One of the unfortunate side effects of increasing sophistication in design and our throwaway society is a tendency for young people to become de-skilled. I mean, as a lad, I was always fixing things, etc. Now you can't fix them, however clever you are, very often. Do you have any mechanism for passing on the skills that still exist with the older people to younger people?
Ooh. Question.
Yeah, so it would be, for example, doing some repair stuff with the community shed. They already do intergenerational work in the garden with the school. And as I say, it would be maybe part of our training workshops as well. We could reach out to schools, we could go out and do stuff in schools, find out what they're doing already, offer something to schools. So yes, I think we might wait till we're more than 6 months in, though, because I think Dot and I will be dead if we do it. But yeah, it's a good point.
Nancy?
No, just what you said there about schools. I mean, well, my daughter did product design, and probably it would have been a lot more useful if she had been, if there was the repair element to whatever they call it now, and with work classes or repair, and just for, not just for boys and girls, but because we're very aware of the climate emergency and of repairing stuff and recycling and keeping things in use, and that would be a good place to start, I would have thought. I mean, So and Selkirk High School's pretty open, would you not say?
Yes.
Mo, to kind of try new things. And
I think once work experience comes back in, your place would be ideal for someone to come and do a week or whatever.
I mean, we can get more funding, so it's the kind of thing that I would, if there was if there was a project with the high school, I'd probably apply for funding to have somebody actually manage that project for me, rather than kind of me doing it. But yeah, good idea. Or Dot doing it. Sorry, Dot, you sit in the dark there.
I know, I need to put a light on.
So once
I'm going dark as well, Dot.
Once I get the bit between my teeth, there's no stopping me. So
sorry. Yes, don't give her any more ideas.
Okay, any more questions? What about Chris? Anything that you'd like to ask?
No, it's been interesting listening. I'm trying to think of the thing that I always want fixed is my washing machine, but I can't get over the
Yeah, you have to wait for our repair.
The laundry basket will be a bit full by then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I just comment on that? I mean, something I was thinking about there, because the biggest stuff that gets dumped is white goods, washing machines, tumble dryers, cookers, all that sort of thing. And I think in a lot of cases they probably could be repaired but people don't know where to go. It's, you know, what you said at the beginning, they don't know where to get somebody to fix it. And it's almost like it'd be useful to have a little directory of, you know, if you have a washing machine that's fixed, this is who you could try. If you've got, you know, for these bigger items, the things that are stuck at home.
Well, funny you should mention that, because one of the planned elements of the website is a repair and reuse map for the borders.
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
excellent.
Changeworks in Edinburgh have got one for Edinburgh, so I had a big chat with them.
Yeah.
So it's a long way off, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So where do
Yeah.
you go?
Stuart's Kelso was very good for washing
Yeah.
machines.
Yeah, what they tell you with a washing machine is that it's going to cost more than it would to buy a new machine.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the dilemma, if that is an honest answer.
I think there's a movement now, so for manufacturers to build in a repair capacity now for white goods that they produce. I've heard quite a lot about that on radio and Zooms and things. So hopefully that's something, you know, that will change in the not too distant future.
Well, it is going to be legislation, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
right,
what I thought.
repair, it's called. It's European.
Mm. Well, it was European.
It was European.
The thing is with small items like kettles, the bit, if the element's going to cost a lot of money, but what you end up throwing away is the plastic part, which is the bit you know, which is a bit you don't, which isn't recyclable.
Yeah.
Just have to turn it into something else, like a pot plant holder in the garden or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole other area about that, which I know I've spoken to groups about, is about buying and buying quality and reprogramming ourselves not to automatically, when you go on a website, get it to list the things in order of price and stop thinking about that and buy things that will last. And on washing machines, our previous repairman gave us the hint on what to do to make sure your washing machine lasted a long time. And he said the answer is whatever spin speed it goes up to, never put it above 1,000 and it'll last twice as long.
Right.
Spin them fast, spin themselves apart.
Actually, on the buying, sorry.
I was just going to say on that one, David, the washing machine I grew up with just went on and on and on, and it used to chug away like an old engine. One of the early lessons I learned was that company went out of business because their washing machines were so good.
Too good. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I was gobsmacked last night when I saw an advert on television by Levi's saying, you know, don't change your jeans every sort of 6 months, buy to last. I couldn't believe it. I thought, mind you, the price of some. No, but I mean, that was an interesting that they of all people should be kind of jumping on the bandwagon. It's probably just to justify horrendously expensive pairs of jeans. But you know, they're obviously looking for a window of opportunity, but at least, you know, they're talking about, which was quite interesting, I thought.
I had an interesting thing today. I'm interested in the visible repair side of things, visible mending. And my knitting magazine today had 2 patterns that were explaining you can knit this and make it look as if it's been visibly repaired.
Yeah.
I thought vindication.
Well, that's selling jeans with holes in them. They've been so
you just
manufactured.
If you bring them in to us, we'll put Sashko stitches on them. We've had quite a few loved jeans that have been brought back to life again, or not had embarrassing holes in them.
I've just put the picture up because I'm sorry, folks, but I'm absolutely starving. I'm going to have to go get
Okay, thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much, Sue. Obviously, I'm talking on behalf of our Selkirk Parish Eco Congregation Committee, but you know, many of us, as you see around the sort of screen, have been passionate for years about eco work and make, do and mend and making sure things don't go into landfill. And you are just such an inspiration for taking this forward. What I love about it, yes, you said business with a heart, but it's business with a humour as well. I love your sense of humour, Sue, especially on your Facebook pages and the little comments every morning.
chasing the gag, always trying to find the gag.
As I say, thank you so much for tonight. I've learned so much for all that I am one of your customers. And you know, hopefully we can do a bit more partnership working as well between, you know, Sustainable Selkirk and our eco congregation work.
Yep.
Okay, but thank you so much for what you're doing.
Pleasure.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And thank you to everybody for joining us tonight too.
Before everybody goes, I'll do a plug for our next event. Sue, you may wish to go and
get my
your tea.
Thank you.
We've got our final event of the series, which is going to be outdoors outside the church, and it's going to join something proposed by Christian Aid. So the information's there. I think if you couldn't come to make the installation or whatever it's going to be called when we put it together, probably you could send us your prayer or your boat. There's a website, if you look on Christian Aid, I can't remember what it's called actually, I should have put it on there. Fold a boat or something. I'll get the website out, so people want to take part in it but can't come on the Sunday afternoon. I'm sure you could send something to us to join in that way. That'll be our final event of the year.
Good.
Very good, and this has been recorded, so I shall send it out to people here, and if Trish can check her notes then, and anybody else that hasn't managed tonight will be able to listen in. So thank you all.
Thank you, David and Anne, for doing the technical side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Keep well.
Yeah.